drive around. Didn't look like anyone was home, but then again, it was 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Go to a gas station, buy a gas can with my debit card, fill it up with gas, go back to his house, leave a trail from his porch to the sidewalk, light it, watch it go.
Troy Maloney grew up in Massachusetts with crime in his blood. His grandfather was a known mobster. From juvenile detention to years bouncing in and out of county jail, Troy's life spiraled until one decision changed everything. He was arrested for trying to burn down his girlfriend's ex's house. That arson charge sent him to state prison, but the real battle began when he got out. Today, Troy opens up about the scars of his past, the weight of generational crime, and the struggle to break free. Troy, welcome to Locked In, man. Straight from New Hampshire, right, today?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for driving up, and appreciate you sitting down with me.
Absolutely.
And thanks for being a listener of the show. I know you watched some of the episodes, and you're friends with Johnny Bart and Bean Shooter, who were both guests on the show.
I like what you do.
Thanks, man. And
I like spreading awareness.
Are you originally from Boston?
Yeah, I'm from East Boston.
You got that Boston accent that everyone loves.
Yeah.
There's no better accent than a Boston accent.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think everyone loves the Boston accent, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like it adds like some authority to the storyteller.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Where in Boston did you grow up, or where in Massachusetts?
I grew up on Barnes Ave in East Boston, and then moved to Winthrop when I was like 10 and went to school in Winthrop, but I was always in East Boston hanging out with my friends and my grandparents and stuff.
What was your upbringing like?
It was good and bad. I mean, I was spoiled by my grandparents, and my parents were together till I was like 15. But when I wasn't with my grandparents, I went through a lot of stuff with like my dad. He was really abusive to me and my brothers. I have an older brother, Ryan, and a younger brother, Tyler. He had a bad drinking problem, my dad, and he used to just take it out on us, and I got the brunt of it. I was the middle child. My older brother, he didn't really mess with as much, but couple near-death experiences from it. A lot of trauma, a lot of bullshit. But when he wasn't drinking, he was a good dad. So, I mean, that accounted for something, I guess. But I was molested by one of his brothers for a few years, and I didn't really talk about it. And I tried to tell him. He didn't listen to me, or he would say, oh, I'll go and never do that, or whatever, and kind of fucked me up. I thought it was, like, normal, I guess you could say. But other than that, my upbringing wasn't bad. I mean, I was confused on who I was as I got older, and I always wanted to be like somebody else. Like, my grandfather was, like, this, like, big wig, like, Italian guy. Like, my family owns a big funeral home in Revere, and they had one in East Boston, and he sold it, and he was involved with the mob and stuff, and I was around a lot of stuff. Like, I could tell you some stories that I remember from when I was younger, and it was crazy.
How did it make you feel that your dad didn't hear you on what happened to you, didn't acknowledge it?
At the time, I was young, so I really just, like, I don't know, I kind of guess I brushed it off. But, like, I think from the time I told him to when I was, like, 16, when I tried to talk to him again about it, I, like, kind of, it didn't bother me, or I thought it didn't bother me, but, like, internally, like, in my brain it was, but, like, I wasn't, like, showing it. I think it screwed me up. That, like, I couldn't, like, you're supposed to be able to trust your parents, you know what I mean? And my dad was, like, my best friend. Like, even though all the bullshit he put me through, and, like, the abuse and stuff, like, I took his side over my mother's, like, all the time, and I regret it now, but I couldn't imagine him, like, not believing me, you know what I mean?
Why do you think you took his side over your mother's?
I honestly don't know. And I try to think about, like, why, but, like, I could never come to an answer. So it was just, I don't know, it confuses me. I think it was because, like, I saw him as not like an authority figure, but, like, he was fun, like, when he was sober. Like, he wasn't, like, and I didn't really know the difference. Like, I would just think, like, oh, I mean, 90% of the time when I got my ass kicked, like, I deserved probably a smack or something like that, but, like, not, like, close fist punches and stuff. But when I was a kid, I didn't know any better, so I was like, oh, I fucking stole money from him, or whatever the case may have been that I did wrong, or I got suspended from school or something. Like, I didn't think, I thought everyone went through that at home. And, I mean, a lot of kids that I grew up with did, but, like, not like how me and my brothers did.
Were your brothers and you close because of how your dad was treating you, or did that push you guys apart?
So I was really, like, intrigued by my older brother. Like, I was really close to my older brother, but my younger brother and me shared a room. So, like, we were boys. Like, me and my younger brother beat the crap out of each other. Like, but, like, I think we were at one point close, but, like, I always, like, floated towards, like, my older brother, because he was always, like, he was popular, and, like, everybody liked him, and he always had girls around him and stuff. So, like, when I became a teenager, like, I would always go out and hang out with him, and, like, everyone was like, oh, that's little Maloney's brother, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, I'd say we were close.
How was school for you? High school?
High school's like a blur. I was good freshman and sophomore year, and then as I started getting older and, like, hanging out with, like, older kids, I think that's when I started getting, like, troubled, because I dropped out of school in 11th grade. The summer going into senior year. And I don't know, I started drinking a lot. I never really, like, messed with drugs. Like, I tried stuff, but, like, I ended up having a bad drinking problem at a young age that I didn't really, like, acknowledge till I was older. But, I mean, I wasn't really, like, bullied because of my older brother, but, like, I had issues. Like, I got in fights all the time just because sometimes, and I mean, Winthrop's a small town, so it's like everyone kind of gets along, and if, like, you don't, like, there's something wrong with you. Like, we would all talk shit to each other, like, me and all my buddies, and, like, I had a group of friends that I stuck with a lot, just, like, 4 or 5 of them throughout, like, middle school to high school, and, like, I'd bounce around from, like, different cliques, I guess you could say. But I don't know, high school wasn't that bad for me. I mean, I think I was pretty smart. I just was thinking about what to do after school while I was in school.
Before we jump more into today's episode, I need your help. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And great news, you can now comment on Spotify episodes too. So drop a comment and a review and let me know what you think of the episode. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, a rating and a review goes a long way in helping us grow. Also, quick shout out to Shady Rays. They are giving out their best deal of the season exclusively for Locked In listeners. Head to shadyrays.com and use code LOCKEDIN to get 35% off polarized sunglasses. We will talk more about them later in this episode. Where did you envision your life going?
when I was in high school,
Yeah.
not where I am now. I thought, honestly, I wanted to be a firefighter, which is funny and ironic. But I don't know. My grandfather always wanted me to take over the funeral home and like go to school and stuff and like do all that like family stuff. And I thought it was cool because like I was always thinking about money. Like money was a big thing to me when I was a kid, like because my grandfather had so much of it, like, and I always got what I wanted. So I always wanted to do something that would give me a lot of money. And I think that's kind of how I didn't really know, besides the firefighter thing, like I didn't take that like serious. But I guess I didn't like think for myself when it came to, like I was always like thinking in my head, oh, well, Papa wants me to do this, so maybe that's what I want to do. Like, I was trying to convince myself like what other people wanted me to be or do. And then I ended up doing that the rest of my life.
Why did you look up to your grandfather so much?
I think the image he portrayed. Like, people feared him. People respected him. People just, like, everywhere he went, like, he had friends, like, everywhere. Like, we'd go out to eat and stuff, like, in the North End or in Boston or Revere or East Boston, and, like, we would never pay for dinner. Like, it was, like, I don't know, it was a power thing. I liked, like, the attention that he got and that I got when I was with him.
Do you think it gave you the wrong perception of how life is supposed to be or should
Absolutely.
be?
Absolutely. Thinking about it now, yeah. Then I didn't. But I think it's a big reason as to why, like, I went down the road I went down. Because I acted on impulse instead of, like, thinking about stuff before I did it. I still do it sometimes. But I think that was the biggest, like, hurdle I had was, like, my own brain. Like, is this right or is it wrong? And sometimes if I knew it was wrong, I would convince myself that it was right. So, like, yeah, I mean, that's... My grandfather was my world in my eyes. Like, he still is. Like, he passed away in 2018, and I was away, and I don't know. I never saw the bad that everyone talked. You get what I mean?
What were some of those bad things people were saying about
Like,
him?
one of my aunts told me that, like, he used to hit my grandmother and stuff, and, like, he was like a pig, and he was snobby and only cared about money, and I never saw it, so I guess I couldn't believe it. But then again, I did see it. Like, I never seen him hit my grandmother, but I saw him, like, how he was with money and stuff, but, like, I was a kid, so I was, like, even when I got older, like, I didn't really, my whole mindset was, like, based off of how my papa lived his life. And, like, that's what I wanted to be.
Do you think he wanted that lifestyle for you?
Absolutely not. He used to tell me all the time, stay good, stay in school, stay out of trouble. You know what I mean? Like, he tried to do everything he could verbally to keep me on, like, a straight and narrow path. And I just chose not to listen, I guess. I mean, and I screwed him over big when I got older. Like, I stole like $100,000 from him for no reason. Like, just because I had access to it. Not all at once, like, over time, but, like, he started noticing, and he, like, cut me off. And I was working at the funeral home, like, doing wakes and, like, stuff like that, and cleaning the cars, and did the landscaping, and he had, like, a tractor, like, loader type thing, and he taught me how to, like, run it. And then his friends owned companies, and, like, they taught me how to, like, run machines and stuff. And I just was like, oh, he would never, like, care, like, you know what I mean? But in the end, he did. Like, so why didn't you just ask me? You know what I'm saying?
What were some of the things you grew up witnessing, seeing, being around him?
Jesus. Well, he's dead, so I guess we can talk about this. So from, like, when I was really little, I used to always sit on his lap in the flower car because he drove the lead car in the funeral procession. And we used to go to, I don't remember the name of the cemetery, but it was in Roxbury. We used to go there. Now that I think about it, it's odd. But, like, when I was a kid, I thought we were just, like, burying somebody. But we used to go to the cemetery in Roxbury. It's huge. Every month, like twice or three times a month. And it was always the same group of people that are in the funeral procession. Like a full-blown funeral is what it was supposed to look like. And it wasn't. And they would be like one time, I was like 11 or 12. And I don't even know how I remember this. But we, like, did, like, the service in the funeral home. And when I was younger then, like, when I was, like, before my teenage years, like, I would hang around my grandfather. Like, I was next to him all the time. And as I got older, like, I'd roam around the funeral home and stuff. But, like, I'll never forget when we put the casket in the back of the hearse, leaving the funeral home, there was, like, a tag almost, like, sticking out of the thing. And I'm, like, was confused at what it was. And when I asked him, he was like, oh, you don't have to worry about it. It's just we forgot to take the toe tag off the body. So I was like, what? And when we got to the cemetery, like a normal funeral, like you put the casket in the ground and they lower it and stuff. And that didn't happen. The casket didn't go in the ground. It went into another car. So I was like, what the hell? Like, I was confused, but, like, I was still young. I mean, 11, 12 years old, you don't really, like, you're not worried about if the casket's getting buried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the next time it happened, I noticed that there wasn't a body in the casket. It was all money. And to this day, I still don't know, like, who he was bringing it for or whatever, like, the case may be, but it was definitely illegal. Because the other car that it would go into would be, like, a blacked out, like, van. And there would be two guys that, like, definitely don't look like funeral procession guys, like, that, like, would normally work at a funeral home.
So
Like,
was the funeral business like his front business?
it had to be, up until a certain point. But, like, he was friends with, like, this guy Ninny. He passed away. But the Frizzy brothers in East Boston, and they were leg breakers for the Italian mob in the North End. And he was, like, best friends with one of the brothers, Ninny. Like, he was, like, my other grandfather. Literally was with my papa every day. He used to meet us for breakfast in the morning at Donna's up the Heights before we'd go to the funeral home. And, like, just, like, the way he, like, talked and moved. And they both always had gold on. And, like, it was, I don't know, it was, everyone used to always say, like, oh, you never fuck with Ninny. Like, and meanwhile, this guy's, like, 70 years old when I'm, like, 13, 14. You know what I mean? Like, he's not young. But, like, he was just, like, scary looking. Like even at his old age, like, you know what I mean? Like, when somebody would say, oh, don't mess with Ninny, like, I'd be like, yeah, don't mess with Ninny. And I remember Ninny would be upstairs. It'd be, like, the end of the day, and him and my grandfather would be talking, and he'd say, hey, Sweet. My grandfather used to call me Sweet Pea. And Ninny did too. And he would say, hey, sweet, can you go down to my car and get the bag out of the trunk and give it to your grandfather? And I'd be like, sure. And I'd go downstairs. Sometimes it would literally be like a market basket bag, like a grocery bag with a bunch of crumpled up newspaper inside of it. And I was like, what the fuck? But it was wrapped. Like, it was weird. But it was money that was just, like, covered. Like, I never went through the bag. So it was just, I don't know, it was weird. But I thought it was cool, too.
Did your friends think that kind of lifestyle was cool? Like the mob, crime type of lifestyle? Or did you feel like you were the odd one out?
I was definitely the odd one out. Like, I didn't even talk to my friends about my grandfather. I was like two different people. Like, even when I was with my family, like, as I got older, I was at the funeral home all the time. And when I think I was like 20. And I used to take my grandfather's caddy and, like, drive around, like, go see my friends and stuff. And I started knowing, like, what he did. Because it, like, stopped by then. Like, when I was older, like, he didn't really do, like, any, like, weird... What normal people would think was weird. Like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I really don't know.
Summer is finally here, and I've been taking full advantage, hitting the beach, going on hikes, and getting outside every chance I get, whether I'm grilling with friends or taking a long walk with a podcast in my ears. I'm rocking my Shady Rays. They're not just stylish, they actually make those sunny days feel even better. Big thanks to Shady Rays for supporting Locked In. You could go to shadyrays.com and use code LOCKEDIN for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that's seriously leveling up the game. They've got a huge selection of stylish frames and lens colors. Whether you're into something bold or classic, they've got you covered. These shades aren't just for show either. They're durable, comfortable, and built for real-life adventures. I honestly think anyone can find their perfect pair of Shady Rays. And you want to know what the best part is? If you lose them or they get damaged, they've got lost and broken protection right from day one. And if they're not your vibe, no stress, you can return or exchange them for free within 30 days. I've been wearing the black timber styles lately, super clean, and they go with everything. I've taken them hiking, worn them at the beach, even dropped them more times than I should admit, and they've held up like a champ. They are my go-to pair for the summer. Exclusively for my listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal for the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code LOCKEDIN for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Now let's get back into today's episode. Did you get into any trouble at all in high school? Legal trouble? Or would that come later?
Yeah. I went to juvie for selling this kid a sleeping pill for a piece of gum. I think I was in 10th grade. I did like 2 months or something in juvenile hall.
Seems a little bit harsh for your first offense.
It was, I don't think I went, I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure that I got put on probation. Or I know I got put on probation, and then I kept violating. And then they were just like, all right, like, you're going to go to juvenile hall. So that's where I went, to Spectrum in Boston.
What was that experience like?
Honestly, it wasn't shell-shocking. Like, it didn't scare me. The first night did. Like, I was crying, like, I was a little bitch. Like, I was, like, didn't want to be there, you know what I mean? But, like, I don't know, you were out all day. You got to order out from restaurants on Fridays for, like, food, and, like, the food wasn't bad, and the staff members were, like, pretty chill. I remember this dude, Omar. He used to drive because I loved cars. I had, like, a thing with cars and, like, trucks. Still do, since I was little. And he used to drive think it was like a 64 or 65 Impala with hydraulics and like Dayton's and shit. It was sick. And he used to park under the window where my cell was. And I'd always talk to him about his car. And I don't know. It wasn't like, I think that's what led to everything else in my life, because I wasn't scared to go to like jail.
Do you
know
think
what I mean?
going to juvie that first time made you feel cooler, like more confident?
Yeah, absolutely. I was the only kid in my high school that went to juvie. In my grade, like, area. Like, everyone in my grade and above, like, no one was ever, like, incarcerated before.
Did those kids outcast you for that, or did they look up to you?
Some outcasted me, but, like, my close friends, like, I wouldn't say they looked up to me, but, like, my close friends, like, we stayed friends. But, like, I definitely acted like I was, like, some tough shit, like, after.
How did your grandfather react?
He was pissed. He was really pissed, actually. He hated it. He anytime I'd get in trouble, like, I got suspended from school a handful of times. And every time I got suspended, like, he would scream at me and read me the riot act. And when I dropped out of school, that was, like, the biggest, like, he didn't talk to me for, like, 3 months.
Why did you decide to drop out?
My parents were getting divorced, and I was just, my older brother dropped out, and I don't know, I didn't like the school I was in. I didn't like the kids. Like, my friends were fine, but, like, there was a bunch of kids from Winthrop that, like, oh, they were all clowns. I didn't like being around any of them, and I saw them every day at school.
How big of an effect do you think, looking back on it now, that your upbringing had on the way your life turned out?
Huge. Monstrous. It's, if I was brought up any differently, like, literally anything, like, forced to stay in school or had to wake up on the other side of my bed every day, I probably would have had a different outcome in life.
Do you think there's someone to blame and hold accountable for that, or do you think that person's you?
I used to blame everybody, but I take accountability for it. I think that, like, I used to blame my dad, I used to blame my mom, but, like, I think that the stuff that happened to me definitely, like, instigated what I started to do as I got older. But, like, ultimately, like, no one forced me to, like, get in trouble or get arrested. You know what I mean? So I take full accountability for it. But, like, it fucks with me today. So it's like, I don't know. I blame myself, but I wish I'd blamed myself sooner.
Tell us what happened in your life after you dropped out of high school.
So I was still living with my mom. My relationship with my grandfather was, like, on thin ice. I started hanging around older kids. I used to hang out in the North End a lot. Started drinking a lot more. Started taking pills when I was drinking, like Xanax and stuff. Klonopins. Just drank a lot. Started hanging out with kids in East Boston that I knew when I was younger. And, like, they were always, like, drinking and shit and smoking weed and sniffing coke. So, like, I tried to be cool. Like, I didn't really like the coke pot, but, like, I started smoking weed and stuff, but it used to get me wicked paranoid. And then I started getting into fights. Like, this one night, we were shit-faced. We were down Maverick Station in East Boston. Completely different now than what it was then. And there was this kid walking across the street, and he was talking shit to one of the kids that I was with. And I don't even remember what happened or how it happened, but all I do remember is picking up a brick and humming it across the street and hitting him in the head with it. And, like, I laugh now, but, like, it was fucked up. Like, I don't even remember why it happened. And didn't get arrested, but I got arraigned. I got a summons to go to court. And then my grandfather made it go away. And then from that point on, that's what triggered the rest of my series of events. Was I thought I could get away with everything. And for a while I did. Like a lot of shit. Like shit I should still be in prison for. And well, that's crazy. I never thought of that.
How big of an effect did drugs and alcohol have on you? I know you said you were
huge.
You were a big drinker, you were using some drugs.
Huge.
But in your decision making,
if I wasn't drinking, I wouldn't want to like be out and about. Like I wanted to be with a girl every time I wasn't drinking. Like chilling in a house somewhere. Second I started drinking, specifically whiskey, I was a completely different person. It was literally night and day. The stuff I would do drunk, I wouldn't even contemplate doing sober. Which is fucked up for anybody that has problems, you know what I mean? So I used to always like belittle like drug addicts and stuff, like I used to be, oh, fucking junkie, blah, 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 you know what I mean? But like alcohol sometimes is worse than serious drugs, like the effects from it. And now I look back at that and I'm like, damn, like that person was struggling with the same thing I was struggling with, just a different demon. So it's like, it's opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff hasn't opened my eyes. Like, I used to use people. Like, if I was your friend, I was gaining something out of being your friend. I was never friends with, except like my childhood friends, like new friends that I met. I would never befriend them unless I saw that I could benefit from it. In some way, it could be literally anything. If it made me look cool, if they had money, literally anything. It could be the smallest thing or the biggest thing. And I did that towards women too. Like, so when my parents got divorced, my dad ended up with this lady, Marie, fucking psychopath. But she was like his karma, because she was crazier than my dad. And I thought it was hilarious, but I saw how my dad was with her. And at this point, like, through everything, like, I'm still pretty close to my dad. Like, I saw him all the time when they first got separated. And he would stop drinking for a couple months and then start drinking again, and then I wouldn't see him or whatever. But when he wasn't drinking, I'd be with him all the time, and, like, I would see, like, oh, she's paying all his fucking bills, like, she's doing this. He's driving around in a nice car. My dad didn't have his license. So I was like, he lost it. He worked for UPS for a long time, and then I don't remember how he lost it, but I started doing that. Finding girls with money and using them. And don't get me wrong, a lot of them, like, I literally, like, would catch feelings for. I mean, how can you not? You hang out with somebody every single day. Could be somebody you hated when you met. You're gonna have some type of feeling for them that's emotional and, like, loving or caring. Like, so I'd get stuck in that way. And then I'd get in trouble. I'd go to jail for, like, assault and battery or something, and the girl would be there So then I'd be like, oh, like, I love you. You know what I mean? Like that whole game. That's literally a game, but it's disgusting. And I just kept doing that, like, time and time again. But I started drinking it. Like, I'd get comfortable, and then I'd start drinking. And then it was just like it was always downhill. The older I got, the worse. Not the crimes, well, I guess the crimes, but the older I got, the worse my personality got, I guess.
Where do you think that your anger stemmed from?
My childhood. Still to this day. I started going back to therapy the other day. That was the other thing, not to get sidetracked, but like growing up, I was always in and out of therapy. And whenever I was in therapy, even like as a young adult, I would notice I wouldn't drink as much, or I wouldn't things would be better. But in my brain, I never thought it was working. You know what I mean? So it was like I was mind fucking myself. Like I was screwing with my own head. And I mean, they say like your worst enemy is yourself. And like I'm realizing that now at 34. And but my therapist said something the other day, and she said, she goes, you believe you healed from like your traumas as a kid, but like in reality, like I just got over them, but my mind didn't. Like I didn't actually heal. I just forgave and forgot. But like in the back of my head, it's things that trigger me to this day that like I can acknowledge now. Before, when I was younger, like you don't really know how to acknowledge stuff. You know what I mean? So I acknowledge it now, and I'm working on it, but I don't know.
When was the first time you had a serious arrest where you were looking at some serious time?
A probation violation. I was on probation for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. I think with my mom and my brother, my little brother.
You attacked them?
Well, me and my little brother were fighting. This was the first time I ever got arrested, like physically arrested. We were fighting. My mom was in the doorway or something, and one of us, I'm pretty sure it was me, pushed the other, and my mom went through. Remember those old doors? Wooden doors that had like 10 windows in them? With those, they were like separated squares.
Mm-hmm.
She went through one of those. And then I don't remember if it was me that had the bat. One of us picked up a baseball bat. And then my mother freaked out and I left.
And she called the cops?
Yeah. And then they found me in like 20 minutes or a half hour or something. And I got put on probation. I had 18 months over my head. I violated my probation a handful of times. Went in and out like 30 days, stuff like that. Then I started doing okay. I met this girl who is no longer with us. Her ex killed her. Everyone thought I was gonna. But it wasn't me. It's not funny because she was a really nice person. But we were hanging out all the time. I had gotten into a fight downtown Winthrop Center. my jaw got wired shut. And I don't know if you ever had your jaw wired shut, but it sucks. And I was in pain all the time, and I was like eating through a straw. And she came over and told me that she cheated on me, and I freaked out. And I think I punched her in her thigh or her vagina, I forget. And she got up to leave. It was like this big ordeal. She went, got a restraining order on me, and then that violated me again. And we made up. She tried to drop everything, but my probation officer was like, no, he's going to jail anyways. So I went back and forth to court. I was in Nashua Street, and I got sentenced to 18 months, but I only did, I think, 9 months on it.
And that's a state prison?
No, that was in county.
That's a county jail.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever had, like, was looking at more than a year.
And that's in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
I think I was 21. Yeah, I was 21 because I spent my 21st birthday in jail.
That was almost close to me. I had 4 months of being 21 before I went to prison.
Every birthday until the last 3 I've spent in jail or prison.
Tell us about that first experience in a county jail in Massachusetts at 21 years old.
Again, it wasn't bad. It's fucked up. It wasn't bad. The intake and, like, the thought of, like, fuck, like, this is, like, 18 months of my life sucked, but, like, I knew everybody through my older brother, like, kids I was locked up with, like, and my dad was already in and out of jail, so, like, he had been, Nashua Street is, like, the pre-trial, and then when you get sentenced, you go to South Bay if you're in Suffolk County. And at the time I was. But my dad had already been in and out of there. The only people in my family that have ever been to jail were my dad and me at the time. Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't bad. Like, I knew a ton of people that were in there through word of mouth or name. You know what I mean? And I was young. I was a name dropper. Like, if I knew somebody or, like, whatever, like, I would use that to my benefit. Like I said, using people at some capacity. But it really wasn't bad. I mean, gotten out some fights and stuff, but, like, it wasn't what everyone always said it was. And what made it easier for me was when I was waiting to get sentenced, like when they were, like, just holding me, I was in Nashua Street, and this kid that my brother used to hang out with, I don't know if you've heard of him, Mort Beasy. He was awaiting trial to be sentenced, and I ended up on the same block as him. And I recognized him because I'd seen him with my brother before. And I went up to him and I said, I'm Maloney's little brother. And, like, right there took me under his wing. Big mulatto kid. He was big as shit, too, when he was there. And he looked after me, and nobody fucked with me from that point forward. And I'd work out and cause a ruckus, I guess. But I never, like, got into, like, drugs when I was in county. That was something I never did. Upstate I did. Suboxone and stuff, but we can talk about that after.
I have to be honest with you guys. I was walking around with the same busted wallet since high school. It was fat, falling apart, and honestly a pain to carry. Cards sliding out, receipts stuffed in like a filing cabinet, and don't even get me started on trying to sit down with it in my back pocket. Then I found Ridge. Total game changer. This thing is slim, clean, and fits everything I actually use, up to 12 cards and some cash. I've got the matte black aluminum one, but they've got over 50 styles if you want something flashier, like carbon fiber or titanium. It's not just a wallet, it's a statement piece. And the security, top notch. It blocks RFID, so nobody's skimming your info in airports or coffee shops. Plus, if you're someone who constantly misplaces stuff, I think you guys know I'm pretty guilty of doing that. They've got an AirTag attachment, so you always know where your wallet is. Everything Ridge sells comes with a lifetime warranty, free shipping, and a 99-day risk-free trial. So if you hate it, which you won't, I promise you that, you could send it back. Right now, Ridge is giving my listeners 10% off. Go to ridge.com and use code LOCKEDIN at checkout. That's ridge.com, code LOCKEDIN. And when they ask who sent you, don't forget to say your show, your favorite show that is, Locked In. It helps us keep doing what we do. If your wallet's still from the dinosaur era, now's the time to upgrade. Now let's get back into today's episode. Did going to county jail give you ideas to commit more crimes? Or
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Well, Suffolk County, specifically South Bay, is like anyone from Charlestown and Southie, East Boston, that's where they end up. And I met a group of guys that were, I think all of them but one were there for bank robberies. One of them had already done a Fed bid for a bank robbery. I think he did like 11 years or something. Who I can talk about later too, because it's a funny story. But I kind of clung to them because they were like, I noticed that they were the ones that got all the attention on the unit. So like, that's how I acted at that time. And today you probably couldn't get away with it, but like the way they would tell me that like they were robbing banks, basically if they weren't drug addicts when they were robbing the banks, they probably would have got away with it. Today, no. There's too much technology with cameras and stuff, but like, I don't know. I definitely, county jail definitely made me into a worse criminal.
What happened after you got out of that first one?
I didn't even try to like chill out. Started drinking again. I was just doing shitbag shit. I don't really know how to explain it. A lot of it's like a blur. Like I tried to forget a bunch of stuff, but I just know I always got in trouble. Like, I was in and out of county jail. I got the second time. I was in and out of county jail from 21 to when I caught my state bid. And the only time I ever did like a stint in county was I got a DUI in Nahant coming from a big 4th of July party. I crashed into a parked cruiser that happened to be an undercover state trooper that was standing like not even a quarter mile down the street from his car watching fireworks. And I got put on probation because I went to the hospital and stuff, and they just sent me a summons. And I got put on probation for 2 years with 6 months suspended. It was my first DUI. And at the time, I don't think I had my license. I think my license was suspended. And I did the probation for like 2 months, and then I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. At the time, I was dating my son's mother, and I stopped checking in with probation. I was at her school. She went to UMass Dartmouth. I think I was on the bus going to her school, and I just got like this gut feeling that something bad was going to happen. And I got off the bus. She picked me up. We went back to our dorm room, and like 20 minutes later, there was like 30 cops, like campus police and state police, outside of her window. And I was like, fuck, they're looking for me. I tried to hide in a tub, a storage tub. And I got arrested, and then I did the 6 months. And that was the last time I, was in jail before my state bid.
Tell us about your state bid. What happened with that? How did you get arrested?
So, fast forward to this girl I met.
Always starts with the girl.
Always starts with a girl. Always. Every story in my life starts with a girl. Starts and ends with a female. It's crazy.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I really don't know. Because my grandfather, I never saw him with another woman until I was older, but him and my grandmother had gotten divorced when they were 80. That makes sense, right? Spend 40 years together and just get divorced. But I saw my dad with not multiple women, but he left my mom and was with this other lady for a while. And then maybe 3 or 4 other people. I honestly don't know. I don't know what it was. One that wasn't doing enough, so I got sick of them and I had to find another one, I guess. I can't even believe I just admitted that.
So you're with this girl. What happens?
So I'm with this girl, Lori, and she had an ex that was a big drug dealer. And they were together for years. And he used to beat the shit out of her. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've smacked a chick before. And, obviously, I hit my ex when she told me she cheated on me. But, I don't condone, beating women at all. Especially now that I have kids and a daughter. All I can remember is she had called me and said that she wanted to meet me at Dunkin' Donuts. I was living in Lowell at the time. Don't even understand how I ended up there. I go and meet her. I had a nice truck at this point. And something was off. I didn't get out of my truck. Something was off. And she was sitting in Dunks. And I was like, what the fuck? And there was a group of guys sitting in the corner. And they all had coffees and stuff, but she was just sitting there. And then I texted her, I was like, hey, I'm here. And she came out. And she came to my driver's side, and I'm like, what are you doing? Get in. I'm like, you just told me to come pick you up. And in seconds, this kid tries to open my passenger door, and he gets it open. And I had a knife, a big K-bar. You know what a K-bar is?
Yeah.
I had it in my door, and I went to go grab it. And she tried to lock the door so I couldn't open it to get my hand down. And he grabbed me, and I just fucking floored it. She jumped off, and I floored it. My door was wide open. I went around the corner. Now, this was in the middle of the winter. There was ice on the ground in the parking lot. I fishtailed out of the parking lot, and he fell, and I ran him over and broke all his ribs. Got away. Cops weren't called, nothing. After that, I go and chill out. She calls me. She's like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. He's threatening to kill me and all this other stuff. So I'm like, I'm a dumbass. Because, I actually, had feelings for this girl. I don't have any fucking clue why to this day. So I was like, whatever. So I was like, I'll go to your mother's. Because he wasn't allowed there. So I was like, I'm good if I go there. So I go there. I tell her mother what happens. Her father's there. Her father loved me. We're talking. Now, I 100% was using this girl. But, I started to really like her. But it was all blind. She was playing me, too. So it was, my karma, I guess. And my phone rings. So I'm chilling. She gets there. Me and her argue a little bit. We go upstairs. Fuck. My phone starts ringing. I'm chilling. I'm not irritated anymore, so I don't answer it. Rings again. Didn't answer it. Third time, I go to pick it up and I miss the call. And I noticed I had 2 voicemails. I was like, what the fuck is this? First of all, the number was blocked, so I didn't even know who the fuck was calling me. I listened to the voicemail. It's her ex. Threatening, talking shit, all this other stuff. That was the first voicemail. The second voicemail, I'm listening to it. He starts talking about my mom and my kid. And then it starts getting into threats. Like, I'm going to kill them. Like, all this other stuff. I'm going to fucking light them on fire. Boop. Hang up. I'm like, let's go. Like, we drank a little bit, and then I started drinking a little more after I listened to the voicemail. Me and her were arguing about him, and it's just a back and forth thing. Her dad was like, you don't deserve this, Troy, like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, she started crying. She didn't want me to leave. It was all fucked up. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, I'm not even going to let it bother me. We sit down. My brain starts going. I look at her. I'm like, where's he live? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, where's Dave? His name's Dave. Where's he live? She's like, in Haverhill. Why? I'm like, what's his address? She won't tell me. So I'm like, all right, I leave. She gets in the car. We start driving. I'm like, where's he live? So I start driving towards Haverhill. Where's he live? Where's he live? Where's he live? Where's he live? Finally, she's like, he lives on Hilldale Ave. So I'm like, all right. So I put in Hilldale Ave. I get on Hilldale Ave. I'm like, what number? She's like, I'm not telling you that. I'm like, why would you tell me what street? So finally, I get her to tell me what number. I drive around. Didn't look like anyone was home. But then again, it was 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Go to a gas station, buy a gas can with my debit card. Fill it up with gas. Go back to his house. Leave a trail from his porch. Mind you, there's like a foot of snow on the ground. From his porch to the sidewalk. Light it. Watch it go. Hits the porch. I didn't notice it go out. But I saw the mat catch on fire. Got in the car, left. Her brother was a cop. Or he still is a cop, I think. And for one of the colleges in Boston. But the Boston... Those cops that work at like BC and stuff like that, they're like stadies. Because they have jurisdiction all over Boston because it's within however many feet of the school. And Boston is a school district, the whole thing. Her brother calls her like 5 in the morning. 5:30 in the morning. We went back to her house. Yo, do you know somebody tried to burn Dave's house down? I'm laughing, but it's not funny. She's like, what? She's like plain stupid, obviously. So she hangs up. She's like, I'm asleep. So now, of course, I texted the kid and threatened him before I did all this. I said, I'm burning your house down. There's pure evidence, right? Big time drug dealer. You think like he's going to try and kill me, right? Couple hours go by. It's like 6:30, 7:30. I start getting messages on my thing from his roommate. Yo, did you fucking try and burn my house down? Because he owned the house, but Dave lived with him. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm like, I don't even know you. So whatever. I'm like, we got to leave. We get in the car. We started driving. My grandfather was in Florida at the time. And I called him and I told him I was in trouble. Now, mind you, I haven't spoken to him in like a year at this point. I told him I was in trouble. That's all he needed to hear. And he told me to come there. So I'm like, all right, we're going to my grandfather's. Didn't tell him what I did. We start driving. Her phone's blowing up. Bro, Troy tried to kill Dave. Troy tried to kill Dave. Blah, 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 all this other stuff. We shut our phones off. That don't matter. They can still ping you. We're upstate New York somewhere in fucking Broome County, wherever the hell that is. They had a ping the state police task force. It started getting really like sketchy on the road. We went through a snow squall The highway was packed. It was only 2 lanes where we were. I forget what highway we were on. And then all of a sudden it was empty. Like it went from snowing where you can't see, and then it being empty on the road. No cars, nothing. So I'm like paranoid as fuck. I'm like, we're going to get pulled over. Like, it's inevitable. I'm looking in the rearview mirrors. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? There was this one car like lagging. We keep going. I start looking again. I seen a couple more cars. They were all like Chargers or like SUVs. So I'm like, all right, we keep driving. They start getting closer. Then they staggered on the highway. Like a full V formation on the highway. So I'm like, fuck. No lights, nothing. I'm like, we're going to get pulled over in like 2 minutes. She's like, how do you know? I'm like, do you not see those aren't plow trucks? Like, they're cops. They're 100% those are cops. Unless some weird shit's going on. Lights come on. We get pulled over. They're fucking hopping. They don't even let me get out of the car for like 10 minutes. They're hopping over the guardrail, like fucking guns drawn, everything. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I burn down the whole city? Like, what happened? Weren't even there for that. Her ex called an anonymous tip and said that I was holding her at gunpoint. Never had a gun. And that her life was in danger. So that's how they got the ping, because they couldn't prove it was me for the arson yet. So they got the ping through that because it was like a national safety thing, and like in any circumstances then anyways, like if somebody said someone had a gun, they were trying to kill somebody, they'd hold them hostage, they had access to do that. Like they'd call whoever they had to call, whatever. So I get out of the car. They have me crawl backwards on my knees. Her too. They arrest both of us. We pull off to some gas station or something, and I'm like, why aren't we going to a police station? And the detective comes over, talks to her, talks to me, doesn't say anything about the arson, so I'm like, this is fuck Gucci. We're straight. She's going to obviously say that I don't have a gun. They searched the car. There's no gun in the car, so, like, obviously, like, it was bullshit. She says, oh, it's my ex. He doesn't like him, blah, 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 whatever. They let her go. They're coming to uncuff me to let me out of the car. No bullshit. Detective gets a phone call in front of me, and it's the Mass State Police with a warrant for my arrest for arson. This was later on in the day. It took them a while to get the warrant. So I'm like, he's like, I got good news and I got bad news. He goes, I'm going to uncuff you, but I can't let you go. I'm like, what? He's like, I guess there's like some interstate clause thing where they can hold you, but they can't place you under arrest until they have like, they can show you the warrant. And I'm like, are you serious? So I tell her to leave. I'm like, just leave. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. We're in the gas station. Detective was super cool. We're just shooting the shit, talking. I was talking shit about her ex. Didn't say anything about the arson. He just said, like, what's this? I'm like, I have no idea. I was like, this is crazy. Some guy comes like 3 hours later, pulls up to the gas station, has the warrant. They Mirandize me, cuff me, bring me to the station. They treated me like I was a fucking king. Like it was like they were not mean at all. Like I wasn't even in a cell the whole time I was at the police station. I was sitting at the desk making phone calls, telling people that I was arrested in fucking upstate New York in Broome County or wherever it was. That was they held me in Broome County jail or something like that. It's like a state prison and a county jail. Stayed there for 29 days and 23 hours, and they came and picked me up on the deadline. Like, made me sweat it out. I thought I was leaving because in New York, I went for the extradition hearing, and the judge was like, we gave them 30 days to come and get you. If they don't get you on the 30th day by midnight, we're releasing you. So I was like, they ain't fucking coming to get me. Are you kidding me? Nothing even happened. Like, in my head, this is what I'm saying. 11:58. Troy, go to intake. Maloney, go to intake. Whatever. So one of the guards is like, "Oh, you're out of here, kid." I was like, "Word, where the fuck am I?" You know what I mean? I'm thinking I'm walking out in the middle of fucking desert, New York, like upstate New York and the fucking Catskills. Like, where am I gonna go? There's two guys standing at the door. One of them has a badge around his neck. And I get closer and it says Haverhill Police Department Detective. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? It's 11:59. And they were like, yeah, you gotta come with us. Come back. The detective, Sean Sharnick, Irish name. He's talking to me the whole fucking car ride. And he's like, dude, we literally will drop all charges against you if you can tell us where this kid Dave gets his product from. Because he was on their radar and on the DEA's radar for years, and they could never catch him. And he was like a small-time dealer, but like enough, he was getting his shit from someone who was like big. Like, I think it was coke and dope and shit. So I'm like, no, I'm just going to fight it. So he stops asking me. And then I start crying. I'm thinking about my kid. And we get back. They booked me in Middleton, Essex County. I waited 6 months, I think. I had my attorney, who was a fucking moron. Fast track. You can do the fast track via sentencing and to plea out and stuff. So the first time I went into court, they had text messages. Oh, I left the gas can at the house with my handprint on it and the tag from the gas station. So they had me on fucking video buying the gas can, putting the gas in the can, and they had all these text messages. But text messages were hearsay at that point because even though what was said in the text messages was attempted, they couldn't prove that it was me because my phone wasn't in my name. And they couldn't prove that it was me texting on the other end. So, like, they didn't use the text messages for a while. They ended up using it for sentencing, though. Like, how they, like, pushed me to plea out. I was scared to death, dude. I'd never been upstate before. So I was in Middleton. And same thing, like, my dad was there 100 times. So, like, at this point, like, I'm older now. I think I was 26. So, like, I was chilling. Wasn't a big deal. I heard state prison was, like, a cakewalk. So I was like, just keep your head down. And, like, if you know people, like, you're straight. Just don't fucking do drugs. Don't get involved with politics. You'll be good. So I'm like, all right, whatever. They tried to give me 25 years the first time. The first plea. That was the offer.
For arson.
Yeah, arson of a dwelling. Now, this is where it's funny. Arson of a dwelling, the max sentence is 25 years with parole. You can't, it might be different now. That's what it was then. The DA, my attorney, came to see me. He's like, they'll give you 25 years with the possibility of parole and nothing when you get out. And I was like, that's the max sentence for the crime. No. So then I get my minimus with all, like, the facts of the case and everything, and I'm reading it. The fire marshal told the news or whatever it was that was there, whatever news station it was, that there was such minimal damage done that Mr. Maloney can't be charged for restitution. I didn't know that at this point, up until then, I didn't know that there wasn't a fire. The fire, I guess, when I left, hit the welcome mat that was on the driveway, hit the porch, and the porch was pressure-treated wood, and it was soaked from snow, that it went out immediately. And when they got there wasn't a fire to put out. So I lucked out in that case. So my attorney's like, obviously you're not going to take this deal, like, blah, blah, blah. So now we get the minimus and everything, and he's showing me everything, and I'm like, dude, what do they have? Besides that it was me that attempted it. Like, well, what do they really have? Like, 25 years? Like, there wasn't even a fire. And they're like, the fire marshal was like, we're more concerned about the intent of what was attempted. So I'm like, all right, so it's attempted arson. So like the max for attempted arson is like 2.5 years in the House of Correction on and off with like probation. And I would have rather took that at the time because I probably wouldn't have got the on and after. So we're talking. He's like, they'll give you 5 years. Or I think it was 5 to 10 or something like that in state prison with no probation when I get out. So I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, are you serious? There wasn't even a fire. Now, at the time, I was with this other dude that he had a stay of execution. He was waiting to go upstate he burnt down like 3 mill buildings somewhere in Massachusetts and blew up his ex-girlfriend's car. And he got 1 to 3 with like 10 years probation or something. I told my attorney, I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, you kidding me? This dude actually burnt some shit down, and he's probably going to do 1.5 years in state prison. So I'm like, ask for probation. I'll do like 15 years of probation, right? And that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't want to fucking be in jail. I got a kid now. He comes back. He's like, there's new evidence in the case. I'm like, what could there possibly be that's new evidence? The kid Dave's testifying. Not like physically, but he's testifying. So he gives a statement, gives the cops his phone to take all the text messages and stuff off of. So this is where the text messages came in. Because they had already known about them, but they didn't see them. So I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So now it's like a fear of life thing. Like he's in fear of his life. That's what he's telling him. This big ass bad drug dealer, right? That wants to kill my family. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We go back. My attorney talks to the judge. I have court. We asked for 3 to 5, I think, with no probation. And the DA was asking for like 12 years or something straight. Like no split. So I was like, absolutely not. The judge comes back. He gives me 4 to 6 for arson of a dwelling. Now, when I tell people this, they're like, why did you only get charged with one thing? Because I was trying to get them to charge me with threats to commit a crime and arson of a dwelling. Because if that had happened, that's the other guy that was in there for arson, that's what happened. He had 2 charges on him. They dropped all the other shit. They didn't want it. They stuck with arson of a dwelling. And because there wasn't a lesser charge to give me probation and suspended time on the big stuff, that's why I ended up going to prison and from the kid testifying.
How old were you when you went to prison?
I'm pretty sure I was 26, 25 or 26. I was 25 and I turned 26 when I got sentenced because it was St. Patty's Day, 2017.
Did you ever think about the consequences of what would happen from...
When I sobered up, yeah, of course I did.
But even from burning the house or wanting to burn it?
No,
Or did you think about them in the moment?
No. I was shit-faced. I almost drove off the little bridge thing in Haverhill that you have to drive over to get to Hilldale Ave. I almost drove off of it. I don't even know how I was driving. When we went back to her house, we fell asleep. I literally woke up, didn't remember anything. And then everything started, and then she told me, and I was like, fuck, I kind of remember going to the gas station. But, like, it was like a blur. And then, then I got sentenced to 4 to 6 years, and that was the start of that.
Tell us about that prison sentence.
The beginning wasn't bad. I mean, it sucked. Prison, jail in general sucks. Like, I don't recommend it to anybody. But it was... I got to stay for like 29 days. So I'd already knew I was sentenced. Meanwhile, the girl Lori I'm still talking to, after she tried to set me up for the first time and then lied to me about him the second time. So, backtrack real quick. When she left New York to come home, she went to his house. So it was like fucked up. It fucked me up in the head bad. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know what to think of anything anymore or anyone. And from that point on, I was just like, I don't even care. Like, I'll just stay in prison the rest of my life. Like, my kid will be fine. And at the beginning. So I get sentenced. I go to Walpole. I don't remember when I left. It was like, I think I got sentenced in September of 2017. No. I don't remember what day I got sentenced. But I remember I went to Walpole and it was winter. It was fucking freezing. I go to... It's all different now, but I think it was like block 6 or something, or B, or I don't remember what the fucking blocks were, but I was on the green side, and I go in, and I'm looking, and I always heard stories about Walpole and stuff. Like, my grandfather used to tell me stories about his friends, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? It looked like something out of a movie. Like, where's the doors? It's all bars. Like, there's no privacy at all. So I'm like, fuck, whatever. So I walk in. I see this kid, Matty, that I know. And he was like fucking in and out of state prison his whole life. He was a little older than me. And, like, he knew everybody. And he was like a big drug addict, but he played football. He was from, I think he was from Southie. And he used to always play flag football and shit. He was cool, like, in prison, he was cool. Like, everyone knew him. He was cool in the street, too. So I'm like, whatever. I'm like, yo, Matty. Like, what's up, kid? And he's looking at me. He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Because, like, I always portrayed that, like, I was, like, this good kid. You know what I mean? That had his shit together, and I never did. Still don't. And I kind of started hanging out with him. He introduced me to Suboxone. I didn't really, like, get addicted to it, but I liked how it made me feel. And I would, like, chill out on it, talk for hours. And, I mean, it wasn't bad. I stayed in Walpole, was waiting to get classed. I waited to get classed for like 6 months, I think. A little less than 6 months. Got classed to Concord. Went to Concord. There was like no room or something. Everyone that got classed to Concord all went to, I'm pretty sure it was the J building where the hole was. And like we had regular rec and stuff, but like everybody was in... Everyone that was with me the day that we all got sent, anyone that was going to Concord, all went to the same area. Because I think at that time, because they were trying to close Concord, they shut like a bunch of buildings down for whatever reason. But I think the J's and the L's were the only two buildings that were open. And I'm pretty sure the J building was the whole then. I don't know if it's different now. Walpole is nothing because it's closed, but... We go, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, there's like no one here. Like, cause everyone was locked in. Like there wasn't anything going on. So I go, I sleep. 2 months go by. Everyone that went that day gets reclassed to another medium. So I'm like, what the fuck is another medium? Like, at this point, like, I still didn't really, like, know a lot. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't really there for that long. So we get reclassed. 3 of us get reclassed to Gardner. And the other 2 guys got reclassed. I think one of them went to Shirley Medium and the other one went to Norfolk. They're all cool. Like, with that, we were the only ones there that weren't, like, in seg. So when we were out for rec, it was only us that were there. And whoever else was there waiting to get sent to a block or whatever it was. So they ended up reclassing everybody that got sent to Concord because they were trying to get people out of Concord. But then, I don't know, they do shit ass backwards. So one day they're trying to close it, the next day they're trying to fill it. It's like, didn't make sense. I didn't care. Wasn't my job. So I'm like, Gardner. Now, I had heard stories about Gardner when I was in Middleton and from some of the kids that I hung out with in Walpole. And some would say it's a great camp to chill and, like, lay back, fall back, like, just do your bid. And some would be like, that's where fucking all the skinners go. So I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So I'm, like, in the middle about, like, wanting to go to this place. So we're on the bus. We're going there. I'm going. And I'm sitting next to this old dude. And he's like, you ever been to Gardner? And I'm like, no. He's like, bro. He's like, it's like a college campus without the broads. And I said, what? What are you talking about? He goes, you'll see when you get there. And he's telling me, because I was telling him, like, I don't want to go to the fucking place with a bunch of pedophiles, bro. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I was touched when I was a kid. Like, I have kids. Like, I'm going to end up catching a life bid. Like, somebody's going to say something crazy, and I'm going to hear it and kill someone. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We pull up. No joke, Ian. You pull up in the fucking public parking lot. You get out of the van in the parking lot and walk in the front door of the prison. Out free in shackles. Walk through the front door. The superintendent of the jail or whatever it was comes out and greets you. Hi, I don't even remember what the hell his name was. I'm so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Welcome to NCCI Gardner. Like, if you need anything, just write me a letter or come see me at staff access. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Then we go downstairs into the basement to, like, change our clothes out and stuff because they give you, at that time, they gave you, if you didn't have gray sweats, they'd give you gray sweats and a pair of shorts or whatever. And you get, like, your bedroll and shit. Go downstairs, the captain down there shaking our hands, saying, hey, like, you know what I mean? This is a really chill, laid-back place. Like, if you need anything, let us know. And I'm like, need anything? What the fuck could you possibly give me? That I, like, if I want to order some food, like, what's going on? So I'm like, this is crazy. So at that point, I didn't see, like, I saw how open the camp was, and there was only a double barbed wire fence around it. So we go to HSU, and when you walk out of intake to HSU, you can see the camp. Bro, it literally looked like a college campus. There was fucking rose gardens, tulips, fruit gardens, vegetable garden. Like, it was crazy. People were playing fucking basketball with no shirts on. Like, I was like, what the this is nuts. Like, nothing like I've ever seen before. It gets better, though. I go to intake, go down to A building, which was, like, the, like, new, like, comers unit. Like, you'd go there, like, if you got recycled, like, or if you got in trouble, and, like, they didn't want to send you to the hold, you'd go to, like, you'd, like, restart everything. You'd have to earn everything back, whatever. So I go to A building. I walk into the building. There's a fucking pool table in the middle of the floor. A pool table in state prison. Real pool sticks and real pool balls. And just people were just, like, just chilling, like, everywhere. And I was like, this is not real life. Prison. This is not prison. There's no way. It very much was, I learned. So, it wasn't bad. I didn't really know anybody there except the guys that I was on the bus with, so I kind of just stayed talking to them. And we could go to chow at dinner. This was before COVID, obviously. And I see some guys there that, like, I recognized from Walpole, but, like, didn't know who they were. And they were across the hall in A building, which was, like, the permanent side. It was weird. And I ended up talking to them. One of them was a fucking skin douche, dude. It's like something stupid. Like, I think he had sex with like a 17-year-old when he was like fucking 20 or something like that. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? And because he was like cool, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know, but like, and the other guys that I was talking with, like, they didn't like, it wasn't like how Walpole was. Like, in Walpole, like, you didn't talk to the Skinners. You know what I mean? So it was like, I was like, whatever. So I stopped talking to him for a little bit. I just hung out with the guys that I came on the bus with that I knew, like, didn't have, like, sex charges or anything. And after chow, the CO's changed. They come in, they do count, and what the fuck was the cop's name? I don't remember his name. Big, tall, fucking goofy-looking kid. He comes in. He's doing count. He's go, oh, we got some new guys here today, huh? Like, sounds like something out of a movie. Like, I can't even describe how he talked. Like, you know how Adam Sandler talks in Billy Madison?
Yeah.
When he's singing Back to School? That's how this guy talked normal. That's how he sounded. But, like, way more high-pitched. Goofy-looking dude, too. Comes in, he's talking. There was a couple people there that have been there for a while that got recycled or whatever. And he's like, comes up to me and the other three guys that were there that came off the bus with me. And he's like, hey, just to let you know, there's a lot of Skinners and a lot of rats here, so just keep to yourself. So I'm like, what? Did the cop just say that to us? So I start laughing, and he's like, you think I'm kidding? He goes, you guys are not the majority here. Solid guys don't exist in Gardner. That's what he said. So I said, all right, whatever. So fucking, that changed real quick while I was there from COVID and shit. So whatever. Next day comes, hanging out. Everything was like straight. I got moved to a building like within a couple of weeks. I got into some programs. My first year was like not bad. It wasn't great. Some kids came in. Other guys came in that I knew when I was in Walpole, and this kid came in when I was in that I was with in Middleton. I didn't really like him, but like I knew him. You know what I mean? Like I shot around with him at the yard sometimes in Middleton, and like he was like a fucking troublemaker. He got in trouble all the time. He was always fucking doing some sketchy shit. And but he knew mad people. So there was that mindset again. Like, oh shit. He was a fucking clown in Middleton, but he's a somebody in Ghana or upstate. You know what I mean? He knew a bunch of people. And all the guys he hung out with were all for state level solid. You know what I mean? So I was like, and at this point I didn't have glasses. I didn't have glasses before I went to prison. I don't know if I told you that.
Yeah.
So I just looked like your normal fucking junky white guy, but I didn't do drugs. You know what I mean? I was all tatted up. This whole arm was done already. In my hand. So I started hanging out with him and these other solid white guys. A couple of weeks go by. We're like chilling and stuff. They start fucking making homebrew. I start drinking again. That was it. I was in this building. They had like A, B was above A. A and B kind of looked more like a jail type thing. They would. It was Garden is a big. I don't know if you know this, but it's all open concept. It's all dorms, 30-man dorms, except for Thompson Hall, which is like life is people that are sick because HSU's below it. Like you had to be blowing somebody that works there to get in Thompson Hall if you really wanted to sell, because like 85 or 90% of it was all singles, like the whole building. And there was probably the majority of the camp was in Thompson Hall, so it was like 300-400 guys in that one building. Because there was only, I think, Gardner's max was like 1,200, but there was only like 900 people there, which isn't really a lot. So I started drinking. Now, A, B, and then C, no, G and H building were like houses, like old Victorian style houses, like legitimate houses. I think Gardner was a mental institution back in like the 80s or something, or 70s, because that's how it's like set up. I think there's something about that too that you can look up. I'm not sure, but they're like old school, like big Victorian style houses, like, you know what I mean? Like rustic looking. And I ended up in H the first time. This was like a year into my bid, right before COVID, because COVID was in 2019, right?
2020.
To the end of 19.
Yeah, end of 19.
The end of 19. Yeah. So this was the first year. The beginning of 2019. So I was trying to get, they had the dog program, which is like, I think every camp besides Shirley and Walpole had it. Concord and Norfolk had it too. And Plymouth. But like you could get in the dog program and like you learn how to train a dog, and they usually go to like people that are deaf or like veterans or something like that. So I wanted to get in it because at that point you could get 15 days good time. So if you were in the dog program, you maxed out because you had program, you had your chore you had to do, and you had school. It was considered school. I think those were the three things. I don't know, but you could get 15 days just for being in the dog program. And the dog program was like 18 months to 22 months long to like graduate a dog from a puppy. So that's, do the math, like that's that's months off your sentence. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like I want to get in the dog program. So I'm in H building. I'm doing like stupid violence classes and shit, like just stuff to like pass the time by and get like a couple days here and there, good time. And I'm drinking heavily. And I'm with one of the kids that I met through that other kid that I was in Middleton with. So we're just hanging out drinking. We get shit-faced. I'm like, yo, I gotta take a shower. I'm like, I cannot. I was sweating. I was like miserable. Like I needed to wake up. So he's like, Gardner's not one of those camps where you go somewhere with somebody either. So it's like, because it's very laid back. Like, if shit happens, shit happens. But, like, it usually doesn't. But there's a lot of skinnies and shit there. And weirdos. So I'm still a new kid in the camp. I'm a lot skinnier. I had nice hair. Kind of like you. Just subtract the glasses. Literally. Go downstairs. I go in the shower. There's nobody. There was some people. The pool in H building. The pool tables were in the basement. So there was some guys playing pool. But they were like older dudes that were like always down there. That was like the rec room, like where all the phones were on like the hallway side of it, and then there was like all the other shit. I go in the shower. Taking a shower. I'm trying to wake up. I turned the water from hot to cold. It woke me up a little bit. I start hearing like whispering. Did you have gang showers in when you were in the feds?
No.
They were singles?
Yeah. In the detention center, one detention center, they had a gang shower.
So you've seen a gang shower
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
So picture a gang shower, but really small, like literally the size of this room, but there were shower heads all over the wall. But in those two buildings, you didn't shower. You either showered with your buddy, or you showered by yourself, because that's like you were out all day, so like you could shower whenever you wanted. Like there would never be more than 3 people in the shower, so there was no one in the shower with me. So I start hearing like whispering, and I'm like, for me to be able to hear you whisper with the shower on, you'd have to be close to the shower, and the curtains you couldn't see outside the curtain. And in H building, the curtain happened to go past the little lip on the shower, so I couldn't see if someone was outside of it. So I'm like not thinking anything of it. So I turn around, I fucking put my head up on the fucking metal thing that the shower thing's on, start going to town on myself. So I'm chilling, right? I start hearing like footsteps, and this group of dudes walk in the shower, butt ass naked. I'm like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? I'm sitting here like, I was like, damn, man, something bad's about to happen. And it did. One of the kids started fucking arguing with me about something. Another kid was arguing. Flash before my eyes, I got fucking suckered right in the back of the head. And now I'm on the ground in the shower. So first of all, I was freaking out because I didn't want to catch something. I'm naked. And there's a group of fucking good-sized dudes in the shower with me that weren't white. I'll just say that. And my worst nightmare came true. They beat the shit out of me. And one of them was like, yo, let's fucking rape him. So I'm like, fuck, bro. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So now I hear it, and I'm like triggered from like shit. Because at this point in time, like I'm in and out of jail, so I have mad time to be thinking about stuff. So I'm thinking about my childhood and like how to deal with it, talking to the therapist in jail and shit. So I start freaking out in my head, and like I tense my whole body up. Didn't happen. Came very close to it. Like, dude was like literally almost inside of me. Freaked the fuck out. And then it was like I woke up from a bad dream. My boy came downstairs, like thankfully at the time, and they had already left the shower. And I was just in pain, bro. My face was fucking swollen. I was bleeding. So I'm like, damn, dude. He's like, yo, what happened? And I'm like, I don't even know. I got dressed. I went upstairs. He's like, yo, you got to cover your face. Cover my face. I stood up for count. When I stood up for count, I looked at my TV on my bed so you couldn't see one side of my face. My other side of my face, I had a black eye, but I was like you couldn't really see it. Fucking the building that I was in was chill. The cop didn't really look at you when he was doing count. Couple days go by, I tell the kid, because me and him had that's who I hung out with. I tell him like what happened and shit, and he's like, bro, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, yeah, I'm dead serious. He's like, do you know who it was? And I was like, I don't know who they were, but I could definitely show you who the fuck they were if we seen them. So, a couple weeks go by, we're talking, plotting, doing all this shit. And this dude, Johnny, comes down. I was in South Bay with him. Bank robber. Did 11 years in the feds. He was nasty at drawing when I was in South Bay with him. And I clicked up with him, obviously, because I knew him. I did 9 months with him. Like, he was my boy. Older dude, like my dad's age. And this other kid, Bobby, that was friends with Johnny, that was like this big, like, white supremacist kid. And I was like, what the fuck's this dude doing in Gardner? So he had gotten you can get like class down when you do good. He was in the max, and he got class down, and they sent him to Gardner because like guys will choose to go there because they know it's a chill camp if they don't care about being around like fucking weirdos all day. But if you keep to yourself, like it really is a chill place to be. And shit happens all the time. Like skinners are getting beat up left and right, and the cops don't even care. And like some skinners are beating up other people. Like it's crazy. It's nuts. Rats are just walking around, like two-legged ones, four-legged ones. So I'm telling the kid that I'm hanging out with that I know the dude Johnny, so he comes over, he introduces me to the other kid, and he's like, yo, we got to talk about what just happened in Troy. So I'm like, nah. I was like, I don't want to tell anybody. Come on, man. I was like, chill. So right at that instance when I'm saying that, the girl I was seeing at the time, her cousin, well, I already knew he was coming there, but I didn't know when, and I didn't think it was going to be that quick, walks down the hill from intake, and I'm like, yo, I think that's fucking Brian. So I asked one of the other white kids, I was like, yo, is that Brian coming down the hill? And he's like, yeah. So I'm like yelling, I'm like, yo. I'm like, Brian. I'm like, yo, it's Troy. I'm like, I fuck your cousin. So he bolts down the hill and tackles me, like not to hurt me, but like grabs me, and he's like, yo, she's been telling me fucking about you this whole time. You've been in here. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like he was there for some stupid drug shit. I think he tried to rob like a convenience store or something with like a knife or something. But so I clicked up with everybody. So now I had like my little clique, and I mean, I'm not really a fighter. Like I black out when I fight, so I hurt myself and someone else if I fight, and I don't really like to fight. Like I'm a lover, not a fighter. You know what I mean? Like I don't portray myself to be a tough guy at all. I'd like to think I am sometimes, but I'm not. I have tough friends though. That's what matters. and I'm solid. I won't. You know what I mean? If you're my boy, I won't throw you under the bus. I won't talk, nothing. If you're not my boy, I don't know what to tell you. So we click up. We don't talk about what happened that day. A couple days go by. We're sitting out at the yard, and then I brought it up. And I'm like, blah, 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 and I started crying. And Brian, like, I instantly connected with him because, like, I was dating his cousin, and I heard everything about. I felt like I knew him already, and he was treating me like his little brother. So I was like chilling, you know what I mean? So I like opened up to all of them, and I knew Johnny. So like, and I watched Johnny go through some shit when we were away, and I seen him cry before. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'm straight. So I'm crying, and fucking Brian's like, yo, he's looking at the other kid, Bobby. He's like, we got to do something. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yo, they're going to know that it was me. And then if nothing happens to them, I'm like, I'm going to end up, something's going to happen to me again. 2 days go by, wreck again. We're all out at the yard. They're in like, Gardner's yard is huge. It's massive. Where like the basketball courts are, and there's this huge like track thing. There's a separate track that's another yard, but there's this huge like, you can basically walk the perimeter of the inside of the fence all the way around to one side. You just can't go behind the building. So it's pretty big, like shit's out of the way, and there's places that cameras can't see. So they're in like the corner of the yard with all fucking their other likable creatures that they hang out with. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yo, they're over there. So Brian looks at me, and he goes, yo, go stand over there. He was like, just go chill. Go call Jess or something. Like, I forget what he said. But the dude, Bobby, was like a big, I forget what I think he was part of like, I think it was called BOW, Brothers of White Warriors. That's exactly what it was. It was like a New Hampshire state prison thing. And he like brought it down to Mass or something. It wasn't that big, but it was, he was a serious dude. Like, I heard mad stories about him, and like he had a huge fucking scar on his face from getting stabbed. Like, he'd done a lot of time in prison, and like he was just a serious dude. And like I said, like I always went around people like that because they were respected. So they go over. I fucking walk away. The next day, all of us get lugged up to the IPS office. The kids are gone, apparently. We all get questioned. I'm like, I have no idea who the fuck they are. And they're like, you hang out with these 3 kids every single day. And they're like, you don't know what they do on a day-to-day basis? And I'm like, no. So nothing comes of it. We get let back out. IPS is like the inner perimeter security. It's like the cops of the cops, really. We get let back out. We go to our buildings. I'm chilling now. These dudes are gone. All of them were gone. They weren't in the camp anymore. I never saw them again. So we're chilling. So I'm like, all right, somebody has connections or did or said something that is allowing this to get like wiped under the rug. So I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Whatever. I stop partying with everybody. Then COVID comes, like the scare of COVID. And then it actually happened. And the whole fucking place got locked down. And it was like hell, because like you're in dorms. You can't have privacy from anyone. People are getting sick. Everyone's going to end up getting sick. And the whole camp ended up getting it. 6 people died, too. Like two older guys, and the rest were all like young kids with like asthma and shit. And I have asthma, so I was like, fuck, I'm going to die. Like, I always made an extreme about everything. So it was like COVID sucked. And that was when I started to... I had a lot of time to like think about everything that happened throughout my life and what had just happened. And I just decided I wanted to change. I didn't know how, though. And I started seeing the therapist more. I got like video visits and stuff. I would talk to people, but like I would talk kind of like how I'm talking to you. Like, I didn't take it serious. Like, I mean, I take it serious now, but like I would like joke around about it. Like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like, yeah, I was fucking molested when I was a kid, or yeah, I was beat, or yeah, I was in and out of jail. You know what I mean? Like, it still to this day, I don't think I take it serious enough, because like I still struggle with a lot of issues. But state prison taught me how to have patience, but only with certain aspects of life. And it taught me to not take life for granted, but also that like I never wanted to go back there again. Cause like I was still in state prison. It doesn't matter like what camp I was in. They were still serious dudes. And when COVID happened, they had something happen in like Shirley Max, and a bunch of people needed to be classed. And we had so many open beds in Gardner that they started sending mad dudes from the Max, like serious dudes, like dudes that were like in for like committing murder and like multiple murders, like people that have been in prison already for 15, 20 years that were able to go to a lower security. And like mad gangbangers. And they all like just, it was like a flood One day there was 50 open beds. The next day they were all full. So it was like, and it changed the demographic of the camp. Like, a lot more like solid guys were like invading the camp, I guess you could say. So like things were like, it was turning into like a real prison. So the what the fuck's the word? The consequences of stuff were getting worse, opposed to before when it wasn't like a big deal. Like if you got caught drinking, like you got recycled. Now you go to the hole. You got caught dirty urine, like now you're in the hole for 30 days and not 14 days or 10 days or whatever it was. So like stuff started, there was fights every day. You know what I mean? Stabbings like once a month. But like Gardner was the safe prison in New England. At one point, I'm pretty sure it was the safest prison in the country. Like they at one point when I was there, like there was 100 federal inmates there on T numbers that were in hiding or got sent there for their safety. Like they were keeping them there. And it just all changed. And I kind of liked when it changed because it got like, it felt more like prison. But I was so used to it that like it didn't bother me. But I kept thinking about my kid and like I just wanted to get out. And so I started trying to do good. And I mean, I did for a little bit. And it just, I don't know.
How much time did you end up serving?
A little over 5 years.
How old were you when you got out?
I got out April 14th, 2022. So I was... What was that, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
30? 31?
Or were you able to stick to that change you wanted to see within yourself when you got out?
In the beginning, yeah. In the beginning. I got out. I got released from Walpole. Oh, I got out on parole in 21 for like 4 months and then violated and then went back to Walpole. Which I was kind of happy for because I fucking hated being on parole. But I think I had like 6 months left on my sentence or a year left on my sentence or something from like all the good time I had earned before because like they don't take it from you because it's already earned. Like it's already calculated. And then when I got to Walpole, they maxed me out because they were trying to close Walpole. So I ended up, I think it was like 5 or 6 months. And then I got released from Walpole. It might have been less than that. So I get out. I tell my mother that I wanted to like get help, like mentally. So I ended up going to this place, Green Mountain Recovery Center, treatment center, or whatever. It's like a dual diagnosis, like drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, and then mental health. And I did like the mental health side of it. And it helped a lot, actually. But I was in a bubble. I wasn't in the real world. And it's like a 5-star fucking recovery place. So like, it was like a positive version of prison. And it was co-ed. So I was like, I didn't want to leave. Like my mind was clear and I forgave like my dad and I forgave my uncle like in my head. I forgave like people in prison that did me wrong because like mad shit happened in prison, like good and bad. That was the worst thing that happened. But like, I don't know. it didn't feel real. So then I left there, graduated or whatever. And then it just like slowly trickled backwards. I don't know how to explain it.
Why do you think you fell back into bad habits again, bad patterns?
I got comfortable. I felt like, oh, I did all the work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. Like, I changed. Like, I worked on myself. And I really did. I really did. Like, I put in the work and I really did work on myself. Things started to trigger me. And I'd revert back to, like, snapping at somebody or, like, here and there, like, little by little. But it started getting worse over time. But I don't know. I think I just got complacent. Like, I was comfortable. Like, I felt in my head that, like, I was okay. Like, I did enough. Like, you know, I didn't have to do work on it anymore. It would just happen. But I guess it didn't work out that way.
Where are you at today? Have you been able to return things around?
So, in the 3 years that I've been out, I've struggled a lot. I have constant issues with the registry. I don't have my license still. I owe the registry in Mass, like, I owed them $9,000 or $10,000 or something. Now it's down to like $6,200 or something like that. That's another story. But I think I changed a lot. Like, I'm a really good dad. I see my son just like every weekend. I have him. I was seeing my daughter every Sunday, but now her mother is deciding to make issues with stuff. So that's a whole nother can of worms that I don't want to talk about. Like, mentally, I don't think any work I did anything. I think it was in my head. Like, it was a delusion that, like, I fed myself. Like, that I was okay. Like, that I was healed from everything, but I wasn't. Like, I worked on, like, my attitude and my personality and how I handled certain situations. And, like, it did great, but, like, now, like, I'm still working on it, like, trying really hard, but I still catch myself saying, like, you don't need to do this, like, you're fine. And then it will set me back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I try and tell myself that everything's good, but it's really not.
What's your plan to kind of get out of this rut you're in mentally?
I'm trying to figure that out now. I like I have a good support system and I'm like motivated and I'm constantly like I'm staying out of trouble, but like in my eyes, like I feel like me to people that don't know me, like from before to now is a completely different person. Like, I feel that me just staying out of trouble is enough. And that, like, I'm being good. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I should get praise for that. But, like, I shouldn't. Like, in reality, like, that's just a normal fucking way of living is not... you just don't break the law. You know what I mean? And it just feels like every thing I do, like nitpick with my mind, and like I keep getting sidetracked, like trying to work on one thing and trying to work on another thing, and like I want to help other people, and I can't even continue to help myself. So I mean, like, I guess I'm doing good in a sense of like staying out of trouble and like being a good dad, but like there's still so many like roadblocks I hit mentally and like with society in general, like just the way the world's turning out, and with the registry and the license thing's a really big like brick wall to hit, because like it prohibits me from doing so much shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a lot. It's all stuff from the past that like I'm trying to like because you can't like make payments and stuff in Massachusetts on reinstatement fees, and it's fucking stupid. And I guess there's this big lawsuit, and I've emailed everybody. I've emailed the head of the registry. They like took a bunch of stuff off my driving record, but like that's not what I wanted. I want to be able to pay it, but I can't pay it. No one's got $9,000, $6,000 just laying around. You know what I mean? But it's like my mental is a bigger roadblock, I think, than anything else. And I didn't even realize that until like a couple weeks ago.
Where would you like to see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now?
Yeah.
Not in New England. No, for real. Not in New England, but stable. Fully stable. Because, like, I want to own my own excavation business. And I got a good girl. We got engaged and stuff, and she's awesome, and her kid, my stepson, and my kid get along, and I want to have like just the family. Like I want to have my kids, my daughter, my son with me all the time, and I want to just be a positive, functioning member of society, and hopefully help some people along the way. Like I've thought about getting into like recovery and stuff like that, like being a coach, but like I mean, I struggled with alcohol. Like I could do alcohol recovery, but like a lot of stuff is like all like NA, and I don't think I didn't struggle enough to like be in it, I don't think.
I think even just a little bit of struggle, it gives you that experience to help others. That you still struggled with it,
Yeah, exactly.
You could still feel what others felt. It doesn't have to necessarily be to that extreme.
Like, I want to help people, like, just in general. Like, that's why I wanted to do the podcast, because it's like, I want somebody to hear my story that, like, because, like, I didn't tell anybody for so long, like, shit that happened to me. Like, even my mom, like, I didn't tell... My mom's, like my best friend now. Like, I didn't tell my mother the shit with my uncle until I was, like... I think when I was in state prison. So, like, that's a long time.
Yeah.
It's, like, 10 years.
And it's good to let it off your chest.
Yeah, and it's, like... And there's thousands of people that I know are dealing with something that happened to them, whether it be to that extent or not, that, like, need... If I had the podcasts and stuff that we got now, like, when I was younger, that were, like, if they were big, you know what I mean? Like, I would have never went to prison. And, like, I said that in the other podcast I did. Like, I would have never... Things would have been way different if I had people that I could listen to their stories about. And, like, that's what I want to show kids today. Like, even my son watched my other one that I did, and last night, he's laying in bed with me. We were watching a movie. And he's like, hey, I want to tell you something. Like, I kind of understand, like, why you are the way you are sometimes. And, like, it made me cry. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, he was like, I want you to know that, like, I love you. And, like, he was like, it was, my kid's 11. So it was like, I think it's going to help him not go the direction that I went. And, like, it takes a lot of work. It's not easy. Like, I try to be positive all the time. And, like, bro, it's so fucking hard.
It's hard work. It's a marathon.
And then, like, even, like, with jobs and stuff, like, if you have a felony on your record, a lot of places, like, even though there's, like, that criminal bill that passed, like, they're not allowed to deny you employment for, like, a felony or your record. Like, some company, like that's, like, some type of law or something.
Mm-hmm.
They won't say that it's that. They'll say that it's something else. But really, in the back of their mind, it's because you're a felon or because they think you're violent or whatever. And it's like, 3 years ago ain't that long, but, like, when I did it, kind of is. Like, 2017 is what, 8 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 7 years ago? Which is crazy.
That's why having these conversations is so important.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want me or anyone, like, do you like being judged by a piece of paper?
Of course.
No, of course not. So it's like, it's not fair. Like, same thing with the registry. It's like, they're judging me off my driving record from before I was 15 years ago. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want other kids to have to deal with that, or people in general. I think being judged as who you are today is what matters.
Absolutely.
Not who you were. And, like, I still struggle every day with trying to figure out who the fuck I am. Like, I don't try and be other people like I used to do. But, like, I can't even try and be someone who I really am because I don't know who it is. So it's like, I don't know, it's fucked up.
I think something that helps me is just kind of envisioning where I want to be, especially when I got out of prison. Or when I was in prison, I had that mindset of imagining what life could be like, and then just working every day towards that to become that person.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have a sense of who you want to be. Now you just have to take those steps to actually put in that work to get to who you want to be.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's been 3 years, and, like, I guess 3 years ago to now, I'm in a better place, but, like, I don't feel like I am.
Hey, it took me, almost 7 years to find some peace after prison. So it takes time. It's not something that's just built overnight,
Yeah.
I didn't get out of prison a year ago and build what I have now. It's hard. And you shouldn't judge yourself based on time.
That's the problem. That's what I do.
Yeah. I think you can, you just focus on a couple things, make a list of what goals you need to hit to reach those goals, and you'll get there.
Hopefully I can figure something out. But I know I'm doing better than I was 10, 12 years ago.
Hey, just being a better father to your kids is
something. That's my biggest thing is I just want, like, if anything, like, I want to, like, when I'm off this earth, like, I want people to know that, like, at least he was a good dad. You know what I mean? So it's like, because I'm still an asshole sometimes, like, and revert back to, like, old ways, and I don't like it. And not as much. Like, before it was, like, every single day I was doing stupid shit. But, like, now it's just, like, I want to cut, like, the bad habits completely out. And just be a positive influence for other people.
I think you could do it. You just keep focused on it.
Yeah.
Take it one day at a time.
It's not easy.
No, it's definitely not easy. But, there's going to be a lot of people that will be able to relate to you in this episode and will appreciate the fact that you are vulnerable. And, admitting to what you're still struggling with. So people see that side to it as well, too.
Like, some people are different. Like, look at Johnny, dude. He fucking got out of prison. He hit the ground running when he got out. Like, There's nothing, like, You know what I mean? It's like, but that's because of the people like he surrounded himself with, and like I cut everybody off, and like I burned so many bridges growing up, so it's like it's a lot harder for me, but like that's somebody that I look up to, you know what I mean? So it's like, because like if he can do it, anyone can fucking do it. Like,
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, especially him.
Yeah, despite everything,
exactly.
He's kicking,
It's like,
he's killing it.
It's I use that as motivation. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but like I think like I always try to do things all at once, and I got to slow my brain down. That's my biggest thing that I'm working on, is like take things one step at a time. Because like I used to do that. I'd take things one step at a time, and then I'd be like, oh, I got this, and then try to do it all. I'm sure you've done that before too. It's like, oh, I can handle all this, I'm good. And then you get overwhelmed and you're like, fuck, back to where you were. Back to where you started.
Absolutely. We've all been there before.
So it's just like, and I don't want people to feel bad for me, and I could care less about that stuff, but like mental health issues is like a serious thing, and that's what I gained from prison. That is the biggest thing, is my mental health issues. That's something that, like, I got PTSD sometimes bad at night. Like, when I'm sleeping, like, I'll wake up fucking sweating. Like, just not even remembering from what. But, like, I never had that before. So it's just, I don't know. Mental health's a serious thing, and people undermine it with men a lot, and because you're like supposed to be manly and like all this other shit, but it's bullshit, bro. Men cry more than women half the time. You just don't see it. You know what I mean? For real.
I love that. Well, Troy, thank you so much for coming on the show today, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you being vulnerable and showing the audience the real Troy, and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me in.
Yeah, thank you, and appreciate the support, and safe travels back.
Thanks, buddy.